So I'm trying to get myself both into building this game and also showing off a bit of res and why you might want to use it. So this is my first attempt at a stream for this. And here you can see I have a res source file, which I've just created and just very briefly set up a couple of things. So if I build this and I go look at the browser, we've got this content here. Content goes here, is this here. So we're up and running. I've made some notes for kind of what we're trying to do. So this is really a game that's designed around creating officers, assigning them to ships, assigning ships to missions, watching what happens, and guiding the careers of ships and officers. So it's kind of a procedural narrative game. And so I'm not a games designer, so I'm kind of thinking, how do I build this game? So I've started off by creating a scene which we call the situation room, and we have here, it's got a card, situations, but actually I think what we're going to do is just remind myself some things about Bournemouth CSS. Here we go. Go to the docs here, and yeah, go away, don't want that. Columns, here we go. Okay, right, so what we're going to do is give this scene a layout. I'm going to try to type slower and make less mistakes than I would normally do. So this is column, and it's going to be is to fifth. So embed card equals sidebar. Okay, and then div class equals column, and this will automatically use the remainder of the space. Here. God, my typing is terrible. Card. Dear, oh dear. Let's just see if this works. Oh, blimey. You're going to get bored of watching me type mistakes. Okay, so let's just rebuild this and see what we get. Yeah, we get nothing at all. Okay, that's not so great. What's going wrong? Well, we've hit an error inside here. That's really bad because that's let's just see what's going on here. Block parent block is bindings.card. Bindings. Oh, okay, that's side card C sidebar. What source is the right card? Well, let's, rather than me trying to debug this, which is sort of an error that I don't really need to debug right now, we can go back to the old way of doing this. Sidebar, can't remember now if this is a hash or a list. I think it's a hash. And we'll just do this. I have to figure out why that doesn't work. That should, that's the old way of doing it, should still work. What? Oh, it is supposed to be a list. All right, fine. Fine. Okay, right, boom. Sidebar content. Okay, we're good. Right. So, what is the situation? Well, we have a thing in Res called a plot. Let's just give it some of the stuff that it needs. So, ship lost in Antares. Plot situation 2. Name pirate raid in Salt. Okay, so plots are things which have stages, and we can kind of call them plot.advance to advance it. This one has one stage, so when it gets advanced, it will complete. This is, if you're familiar with Blades in the Dark, God, my typing has this notion of plot clocks, and that's really what a plot here is here. So we can create some plots, and then we can so we can bind situations, and kind of the boring way of doing this would be okay, so we say we've got this here. In fact, actually, we can't do that. We have to do this. I think we can't do that either. So we have to do this. Okay. So we do that, and then we can say for each situation in situations. So we do something like this. And again, it fails. Why does it fail? Let's put a token. There's a syntax error in here somewhere. Where have I got my syntax error? Oh, yeah. JavaScript, you have to have commas in between things. Finicky. Okay. Now what's wrong? Oh, yes, okay. Yeah. You know what? This whole streaming business is exceptionally stressful. The stress that even though there's nobody watching this, because I didn't tell anybody about it, not that there would necessarily be anybody if I did tell anybody, but just the notion that this is happening in public makes it exceptionally stressful. And something has gone wrong again, or is it just we stopped at a breakpoint? Okay, boom, right, good. So you can see here we've got our situations being displayed. This is obviously not how we would want to do this. So how would we do this instead? Well, let's say situations are going to be a property. So the syntax in Res to say make this a property, and the game. Actually, probably the easiest way is to go look at the Res source code. So game. We want to find particular types of objects. Well, we could do that, but I don't think tagging the objects makes a lot of sense. When we should just be able to get game objects of particular type, get typed game object. That's for a specific object. I'm certain there must be a way to get all objects. So get all with the type. Okay, boom. Right, so return game. So game is the global reference. Get all. was it? Get all plot, and then this now becomes. Does that work? Looks like it does. Let's just make sure. So I'll add plot situation 3. Name's going to be medical emergency on Deneb. Okay, so let's rebuild this again. Okay, boom, right, so that's now working. But actually thinking about it, it might actually make sense to tag these with a situation. Because we might want plots for something else. And so actually we could say return game.get tagged with situation, and that should still work. And that's perhaps a little more flexible. Okay, that's funny, that returns us 3 objects, but objects without a name. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, yeah, I know what that is. Now, we've got, let's return to 3 references. So what we need to do is map these to, can we do that in JavaScript? I actually don't know if that works. Yeah, we can. Okay, cool. Right, so get tagged with is returning the IDs. So it's returning situation 1 as an ID. Obviously, that's not the object. So mapping to $. So $ in res is the give me the object with this ID function. So $ situation 1 returns the object for situation 1. So here we're mapping these with $, and that gives us back the objects. So we've got our things here. So we've got this notion that we have plots, and plots can be situations, and situations are the thing that we want to deal with. Next, however, we are looking at where do we go from here? So we've got this notion of officers. Actor. So I tend to sort of have a prefix for ID, so you can look at an ID and kind of know what it is. So I use A, SC for scene, C for card, often PL for plot, although you notice I haven't put PL in front of these. Actors often A, actor officer 1. A officer 2. So let's play with this for a minute. So Simpson is the, among other things, comment thing for res 8, 10. Right. Okay. So they're going to have a given name, James, and a family name, Kirk, given name, Leonard, family name. What was McCoy's name? I can't remember. Okay, Jean-Luc. Go. Okay, so we can create officers with names. Now, rank, and we're going to give them rank of ensign. Okay. And we're going to give them a ship ID. At the moment, we're going to leave that with this. So what that says is declare a value, but don't put anything in there. So we've got a couple of officers, but they don't belong to a ship. So let's create a ship. Now, we don't really have anything for a ship, but Res does have object. Which we can use really for anything. Actors, cards, scenes, plots. There's a specific JavaScript class with some behavior for those. Object has a class, but it's essentially a behaviorless class that's just there for you to make more or less data objects. You could use it for everything in here, but there's some useful behaviors that are sort of going on in these things. So we've got this here. Okay, let's okay. We're gonna. I don't know if it makes sense, but we're gonna gender them. I don't know. Does that make sense? Maybe it doesn't make sense. Oh, it might. Yes. Where it does make sense is when we want to write some text. We want to be able to say he or she. So actually giving them a gender probably does make sense from a text generation perspective. And we can now assign them to USS Enterprise. Obviously, we probably won't call it that, but that's a starting point. So the reason I've done this, name, I'm going to call it Enterprise, class, not sure. Let's say it's a frigate. Okay. So let's just build this. And obviously nothing much has changed here, but if we go and look in here, we can say USS Enterprise, and you can see we've got an object, and it's got some attributes. It's got a name and class attribute, so we can go USS Enterprise dot name, and we get the name. Dot class, and we get the class, and we can do the same thing for what did we call them? Officer 1 and Officer 2. You can see we've got a family name. Okay, so these objects are being created in the background, and what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to say officer is an actor. What that lets me do is now use a tag of officer for these. That should still build, and nothing really should be particularly different here. If we go do this, you can see here we've got a officer is right, but we're going to add some defaults here. We're going to add name as a property. And we're going to return this dot family given name, this dot family name. Okay, so we're going to add default here, and we should be able to say name, and we get Matt Phillips. And if we do that for Officer 2, we get Susan Floop. Boom. Okay. Now, obviously this game is not going to work very well if we hand define all of these officers. I mean, we could create like hundreds of officers, but that would be that would be kind of boring to write. So what we're going to have to do is procedurally generate these people and these ships, which means that actually what we're going to have is turn them into a template. Now, I tend to make templates T underscore. So what we've now done is we've created an officer template. So if we go back and we look, and you see nothing much has changed here, but if we go T officer, you can see we've got an actor here, and it's got a name, although it's not. You'll notice that it's actually not. It's returning a property definition, not actually a property. That's because of making it a template. This changes the behavior of these things, but it also means it's available to be copied. So if we now do copy with auto ID, what we'll get is a new actor T, and you see t.name is now actually returning something essentially. Given name is a dummy object, which is why this is looking a bit funky, but this is the basis for creating this. Okay, I think it's on copy. I will need to check that. That might be wrong. Boom. Okay, right. So what happens here is when we copy this template, this event handler gets called, and we can do some assigning in here. Let's say we can list male names, and we're going to have Matt, Tom, Robert, James, Bob. List female names. God, I don't know. What's the names of something? There we go. Right, okay, so we've got some names here. So officer.gender is going to be some random function. I believe we define an easy way of doing this in here. We patch Boolean. What do we do? What am I looking for? So I'm looking at functions that res defines. Of course, I can't find what I'm looking for now. Oh, here you go. Boolean.rand. Boom. Okay. Boolean.rand. So officer going to be male or female. And then, so if officer.gender is male, officer.givenname is male names.random element, else officer.givenname is female names dot random elements. Okay, so in res, basically there are a couple of ways of having functions. So every attribute has a value, and that value can either be an arrow function. We don't support shorthand arrow functions. They have to have these braces, which means it has to have a return. If you're returning a value, obviously, otherwise you get undefined. Or if you, under different circumstances, you might have function attributes. Obviously, the difference is if you have one of these attributes, you don't have a this value. If you write a function attribute, you do have a this value. Typically, what that means is we're then passing the object here that we want to work with. So in this case, when this template is copied, the copy gets passed in this handler. And so we write JavaScript just to configure this object. The reason for having these properties here is partly how res initializes things. This allows it to know that these properties exist and handle them gracefully. So if we build now, we go in here and we create our copied officer. We have Tom Black. If we create a new one, Matt Black. If we create a new one, James Black. If we create a new one, Susan Black. Okay, so we did get 4 guys in a row. And Susan again. And then Audrey Black. Okay, brilliant. So what we have here is an ability to create officers with random names. Obviously, these pools are going to have to be a good deal bigger to give some variation. We don't have anything like ethnic backgrounds or that kind of stuff. That can all come later. But it does mean that we don't need to define officers directly. We can define officer as a template and then create as many officers as we like. So let's put in a list, family names. And we're going to have black, white. Oh God, I can't just call it colours, can I? Smith, Jones, Roberts, Bob Roberts. Well, if you've ever seen the movie. Right, okay, so there we go. So now what we do here is we say it's family names dot random element. Random element is exactly what it expects. It gives us a random element from the list here. But also what we're going to do is, for ease of access, we're going to make these global. And what that means is, because these are essentially sort of singletons, there's only ever going to be one list of family names and so forth. We can simplify this because we don't have to look this up now. It's now going to be defined. Okay, so let's build that. And we create our officer and we get Audrey Jones. Okay, and we'll create another one, which is Emily White, and another one, which is Beth Roberts. Okay, brilliant. Okay, so we got our officers. So let's change this. This is really about officers, not actors. Okay, and what we can do here is create an object. We're going to call this, what are we going to call this? We're going to call this Academy. And we're going to give it a size of 20 to begin with. And when it gets initialized, it is going to because we only need to refer to this one place, we won't make it global, we'll just look it up. And we're going to have our cadets here, And when we initialize it, we're going to say, God, I can't remember how you do this now. Let I 0 I less than this dot size. I'm not much of a JavaScript programmer, so let's say God, what is it? Is it push template dot copy with auto ID? Okay, and then we're going to say this dot cadets equals cadets. Okay. So again, even though we're not putting anything in this here, we are defining it. And in fact, actually, we can do this slightly differently. We don't need to use on init. We can actually do this with an initializer and return cadets. So this, like $P was to declare a property, $I is a dynamic initializer. What that means essentially is it's the property that gets set when the object is created. So we no longer need to run initialize here. This should work, I think. Looks like we've had a problem. We are in the debugger illegal return statement. Oh, yes, okay. I think I'm forgetting how initializers work. It's a while since I've used that function. Okay, boom, right, so that's fine. So if we now go Academy, so we've got the Academy object, academy.cadets. Okay, you can see here we've got 20 officers, each initialized with some attributes. We can see here we've got James Roberts, who is an ensign. Actually, did we give him a rank? Looks like we didn't give them a rank. Did we not? Did we not give them a rank? They should have a rank attribute in here. In the template, do we not give them? We don't assign it. Ah, right, okay. So officer.rank equals ensign. Office.ship ID equals USS Enterprise. Now, what you'll notice is that where in res terms, I would, for example, write ensign, which is a keyword, but JavaScript doesn't really have any meaningful notion of keywords, so it just all gets turned into strings. In res, they mean something, so hash USS Enterprise is an ID in res terms, but in JavaScript, it just gets turned into a string. But if I assign ship ID here, what should happen, now obviously they're in the academy, so in theory, so if we go T officer 1, underscore 1, is it? Oh, it's not T. Actually, it should be T. There we go. Right, academy. Cadets. Let's take cadet 0. Okay, and their name is Susan Smith. Their rank is ensign, and their ship is, and you can see what the object USS Enterprise here. And obviously they're cadets, they're not assigned, we're just doing this to test this out. But what we're going to do here is we're going to make a alias ship is object, and we're going to have ship here. Now what I could do if I really wanted to is have a JavaScript object to initialize this, but I don't think we need it. Let's say we want ST frigate, and we're going to give it a name, frigate, ship class, ST destroyer, we'll give it a name of destroyer, ship class, ST cruiser. Okay, so we'll start off with a couple of ship type classes. Now what we're going to say is class ID, and what did we say this was a frigate, so we'll make it ST frigate. Res makes it very easy in this way to join compose objects by just using an ID, and we can auto compose, and it will look up the objects in the background for us. So we just change this ID and we can change the type of the ship. Obviously, you're not likely to do that very much. Right, okay, so now we want a template for a ship. So we're going to say ship T ship, and we make it a template. And it's going to have a name, and it's going to have a class ID. And then we're going to say on copy ship, ship.name. So we'll create a list ship names. Let's say we have Enterprise, Reliant. You can see where my film tastes go. Shit, can't think with it. Galactica. God, I can't think of the names of any other ships. Defiant. That'll do for now. Right, so ship name, and we'll make this global. So our ship gets a name. Now, the thing here is we don't want to just use random element here, because actually we don't want multiple ships called Enterprise. So in fact, we need to use part of res list, and we're going to use it as a bag. So need to remember this is code I haven't used in a while, so just need to remember how this works. Random from bag. Okay, so ship name. So we're going to say ship names, random from bag, ship names. Right. So what that's going to do is give us a random element, but without duplication. So this is like having a bag of stones. You dip your hand in and you pull out a stone, so you can't see what stone you're pulling out. You pull it out at random, but once you pull that stone out, you can't pull it out again. So what this means is class ID is going to be ST frigate. So at the moment we can only make frigates. So let's get rid of this. I think we might, did we use USS Enterprise up here? We did. So we're just not going to assign them to a ship for now. When you're in JavaScript code, the JavaScript commenting rules apply, but you can always use res comments as well. That will actually take it out of the code altogether. Right, so here we have this. Okay, so we now have ship as a template. Let's build that. Okay, that builds. So we're going to say is t ship dot copy with auto ID. Okay. So as I said, the bag code is not code I've used for quite a while, so I have to create bag first. Apparently I do. So in here, didn't think I did have to do this, but apparently I do. Oh, hello. There's some code that didn't get properly ported across. All right, I think that should be enough. Let's just have a look, see, does that fix the problem? Oh, no, it doesn't. Right, okay, there's something a bit iffy here. So this code really hasn't been dealt with in a while, and I'm wondering whether it may be a bit broken. Oh, well, yeah, I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right. Let's just have a quick look in the code in lib. Some of this code's a little older than others. Yeah, there's nothing going on in there. I think there's something a bit iffy here. Get attribute cycles. Get back. Yeah. Where's this bag stuff coming from? Yeah, this code hasn't been properly fixed, so this needs to be fixed. Yeah, that's a bug. That's a bug. I guess I can just fix it. So we're live coding. Who cares? Right. So get bag. This should be something more like up here. Let's find the cycles code. So I think that probably is about right. Okay. So we look for the bags attribute. Yeah, it's there. Okay, so I just didn't really put this across. So bags, this get attribute bags. This probably isn't how this code should work. I think this is pretty inefficient. But how much time does any potential viewer want to spend watching me try and figure out how to implement this versus just getting on with making the game? It's a bit meta at this point. Okay, so it's an object. So we return bags bag ID, or this dot create bag ID. Okay, so I shouldn't have had to do that. That's fine. So create bag, so we get bags. We get the values, create array. I don't like how I've implemented this. this at all. This code is pretty naff. I can actually fix this now as well. That should not have been like that. It should be moved over, and take from as well. This code did not get a lot of love, did it? Okay, I don't know if this will work. Setback. Okay, I mean, is that going to work? Not entirely sure. Okay. I'm not sure about this. However, let's see. Okay. Okay. I think that's. Hey. What's going on? Why is it not stopping on the breakpoint? What is going on here? Random. Oh, this is. What's going on? Why is it not stopping on my breakpoints? I got the ship name. Or has it stopped on the breakpoint? Oh, it has. Has it stopped? It has. I'm being stupid. Okay. There we go. Yeah, all right, cool. So we've got bag ID, ship name, so step in, get bag, here we go. So this, yeah, that code needs to be rewritten. Hang on a second. I rewrote that code. Why am I looking at old code? What? Well, that's wrong for a start. Okay, what am I editing here? What what files are these? Okay, so somehow I have an old version of the Res project there that I was editing. Okay, that explains why. That explains why that. Oh, that's a bit baffling. Okay, I don't know how that happened. Right, but we need to do this again. So first thing we can do is all versions of create bag become create bag, and take from becomes take from. Okay, so we fixed that. All right, so create bag. So let's fix this. So I think we do need to do that actually. Okay, I think that actually now should. In fact, actually, let's just do that. Make sure we got the right version. 50.1, good. Right now, build. Okay, brilliant. Right, so this is working now. So it's giving us a random ship name um, until it runs out. There are only 4 in here. We're going to have enough names in our list for all the ships we want to create, or potentially take a different approach and somehow generate ship names. If we needed hundreds, that might be an issue. And that raises a question here. So how many officers? How many ships? Is this sort of dozens, hundreds? Would it be feasible to manage hundreds? How many ships? Tens, hundreds? What is feasible here? Is the question we should be asking. Okay, so what we've done is create this. Now, if we go have a look at the Res language guide, and we look at the different types we have available. We've got probability tables. So we're going to have ST, so frigates are small, so we'll do, let's say 70, ST destroyer 20, ST cruiser 10. Ship class ID is, actually I don't know how this works. I forget how probability tables work. Well, there you go. There's certainly bits of this system that I just don't remember very well. Well, we can see what it is. So let's put this back as it ST frigate for the moment and just build. And then go back here. Oh, we've got a problem. What have I done wrong? Create bag is not a function. You're right, it's not. It's not a function. Where did it come from? Oh, we did an initialization somewhere, didn't we? Yeah, get rid of this. That's no longer relevant. In fact, a bit surprised that didn't blow up a second ago. Oh, yeah, we left a breakpoint line around, didn't we? Okay, but now if we do class type, okay, so we're getting mostly frigates and the odd cruiser. Okay, so that is now, we could say this dot class types. And I think what that means is, class types, no work. Oh, of course, we're in an initializer. It should be ship.class types. Okay, so we copy it and something's gone wrong. Oh, we've run out of ship names, haven't we? 1, 2, 3, 4, and the fifth one fails because we run out of ship types. Yeah, if we run it now, it'll tell us undefined value. That's because our bags run out of values well before we got a cruiser. Right, so Sorry for the dead air. It's girlfriend related. Right, okay, so we've got, well, actually, most of these don't work very well, but victory is fine. Constitution is fine. Bismarck, maybe not. Endurance is fine. Enterprise we've already got. Spaceship names. Well, this is not really what we want. Challenger is okay. Columbia, I guess. Voyager, that will do. Apollo, we can take Apollo. Probably should have given this better instructions here, but this is all right. Dragon. Yeah. Right, so list of names for spaceships with type frigate. I don't know how well it'll do this, but Resolute, perfect. Okay, this is more what we wanted. So Resolute, Aegis, yeah, perfect. Vanguard, Ironclad's a little bit thing. Harbinger, that'll do. Eclipse, yeah. Sovereign. Okay, we like all of those. Sovereign, Tempest, Aurora, and Avenger. Copy. So what we got here. Yeah, they all look fine. I think Endeavour we might have already. Do we have Endeavour? Nope. Just need to take the commas out. Res lists don't use commas. And so destroyers, frigates. Okay, beautiful. Beautiful. Right. Okay. So I think this is looking better. Okay, so now we got some ship names. And we've got a decent number of ship names now, so let's just build again. And go back here. Right. Actually, what we'll do is just, because we're looking to see, so frigate, cruiser, frigate, destroyer, Hellfire, Victory, Aurora, Voyager, Oblivion. Okay, so this is working. So we're getting classes according to this ratio. So 70% frigates, 20% destroyers, 10% cruisers, with a name. So let's see where we are. We've got a way of generating some officers. We've got a way of generating some ships. And what we're going to do is create an object. Fleet. I mean, there's a number of ways that we could do this. think what we're going to do here is I mean, we might want different fleets, but I think in the first place, let's just return all objects. Now we can't I don't think actually. I don't know actually. No, its element is object, which is right because it is a res object. If we look at this, we can see it's a res object. It does actually have an attribute alias to say it's a ship. So we can just have say filter objects. So filter objects object. That should work. That I think should work. Actually, no. So our template was tship. We're going to make this global as well. I didn't for the last template, did I? Because we only used it in one place. So yeah, const template equals tship template.copy with auto ID. Okay, right. I'm not sure if this is eventually how we'll do this, but this is how we're going to do it for now. In fact, actually, there's a slightly better way of doing this. If I go into the standard library and I go look at array, if memory serves, we have a function which neatly does what I'm looking to do. N-of, here we go. So we can actually say array N-of, that says number and value. Actually, that is not going to work because it's for creating well, you know what, actually what we could do is this dot size null map. Okay, that should work now. So we're going to build. We're going to go look. It looks like it's worked. So if we go fleet, oh, did we not make it a global? We didn't. Okay. Okay, and we go. We look at fleet. Ships. Okay, we've got 20 ships. So we've got we've got frigate, the Spectre, and we've got Oblivion, which is another frigate. And if we keep looking, we'll find some ships with different types. So we've got Destroyer, Horizon. Okay, so we've got. So let's just see where we are. So we've already been working on the data model for the game. So we've got a way of generating officers. And we can generate an academy with 20 officers in it. And officers are generated from a template. There's a potential sequencing problem here, which is something I'm probably going to have to figure out. When does the academy get initialized versus when does the fleet get initialized? Because essentially we want the fleet to happen first so that the ships are created by the time the officers are ready. That doesn't really matter in this case because this is actually an academy, but if we were creating officers that were supposed to be assigned to ships, so we could actually create it's funny, they do this in real life, don't they? Ship academy. We could actually make the academy a ship and assign you to that. But we're not going to do that for now. So we're just going to leave this unassigned. So if an officer doesn't have a ship, they're by default meant to be in the academy. So we can create some initial officers and we can create some initial ships. We'd have a lot more population work to do because we need to create the officers for all these ships. So things we want to think about here. How many crew do we need? Now, in this game, crew is just going to be a blob. Only officers are individuals. However, we might have, for example, a veteran crew, which would have some bonuses. Or we might have a green crew, which would have some malices. But crew is just going to be a blob. But we would have like a min crew level, which would be a skeleton crew. So let's say for a frigate, 20 is and required crew level might be 40. And then we'd have how many officers. So have something like that, sort of bridge crew. So we need a captain. My spelling's dreadful. We need the XO. And then what other positions do we need on a ship? I don't actually know how long this stream's been going on for, but it's over an hour. So I think I'm going to end it here with having created some stuff for some ships and for some officers. We're obviously going to have, well, actually, let's just go back here and scene SC ship list. Initial card ID is going to be C ship list. And I think I'm going to copy this layout here. So I need to copy that as well. So I'm not going to do anything too clever here, but what does Bulma do about lists? Does Bulma have anything funky to say about lists? I don't think so. It does some stuff for tables. Actually, we could let's use a table. So name and class. Let's just start with that. So ship in ships. And we just need to specify where those ships are coming from. Ships is going to be, so we're going to have fleet is the object fleet, and ships is then fleet.ships. I mean, we could actually just have the fleet nav down here, fleet.ships. And then in the sidebar, scene equals situation room. Okay, so let's just build that and see what we've got. Okay, so now we've got here. Okay. We've got something going on here. Oh yes, of course. It should be class.name because that's actually the object. So we go here. Okay, so you can see here that we have we've got to start. So we've got our ships here, and actually we could put in another scene here. Scene SC Academy. And we're going to copy again the same layout here. And we're just going to copy this, I think, for the officer list for now. We're going to call this Academy. Name, rank. This is Officer Academy Officers. Officer.name. Officer.rank. We build this. We need to put that into the sidebar. Where did I put the sidebar? Here it is. Yeah, God, my typing. Jeez. I wonder how I could type anything really. Okay. How do I write 15,000 lines of code? Well, 2 characters forward, 3 characters back for the most part. Okay, that didn't work. What went wrong? Academy.officers is not bound. Where is our academy? It's cadets, not officers. There we go. That's why. So we go back here. That should be cadet. Cadets, and we get cadet name, cadet rank. And now that looks a bit happier, I think. Okay, boom. Right, so we've got our situation room, we've got our ships, we've got our academy. This obviously is a bit hard coded right now, but this we're generating. So let's decide our fleet has a prefix. So the last thing we'll do before I sign off is give our fleet a prefix. We're going to give it UFP for United Federation of Planets. And what we're going to do is here we're going to have fleet ID. And when we create a ship, so we're going to do something slightly different here. I think this is going to work. Well, I know how we can make it work, because we can just do this. So even if the object hasn't been initialized at that point, that's fine. And now, so we're basically saying to a ship which fleet it's assigned to. It starts being assigned to this fleet. And now I'm just going to call it designation for now. And we're going to return this dot fleet dot prefix, this dot name. So we're going to create a new property for designation, and we go in here and in our ship display. Where is that? It's up here, isn't it? Let's put it in here. Let's just see if that works. It'd be nice if it did. Okay, UFP, brilliant. The UFP spec to the UFP Vanguard. So what we've got now is an academy with some officers. Obviously, right now they're just a name and not a very good name, and a list of ships of different types, and some hard-coded situations that are going on. Yeah, very early stage, but it's a start. I've made a start. Okay, well, on the off chance anybody watches this, I hope it's at least vaguely interesting and forms a basis for a stream in the future where I'll continue to work.